Shout out to Heck.
Shout out to Heck.
Shout out to Heck. What the heck?
Yo, what the heck?
Spin a check, Heck.
Shout out to my boy Heck.
What's good, everybody? What the heck is going on? Hope you're all in good health. Hope you're all getting your money. And hope you all are living with purpose. Okay. Today's stream is called Change Your Travel Plans, guys. It's not gonna be looking good for a lot of people. We got a lot of things happening over here. So let's just get right into it. Let's talk about it. Hit the like button when you come in here. Hit the like button on the way in, all right? Still here, Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. Got me a Vietnamese Cafe Sua. Pretty strong, sweet, pretty good coffee, less than $1. All right, so that's pretty clutch. We're not here to talk about the coffee. Today's stream is called Change Your Travel Plans. All right, guys, let's get right into it. Let me just remove this from the studio. As you guys can see, I got one person in the building with me, the StreamYard Duck, okay? You guys see it here, I got the StreamYard Duck with me. You guys know what it is. Hit the like button, support the show, support the content. Let's get right into it, all right? So why do I say change your travel plans? All right, guys. To keep it 100 with you, we should already know what's been happening in the Far East, and we already know kind of tensions are rising and increasing in Latin America, right? But I've had an experience when I was traveling in the Far East myself, and I can kind of talk a bit about what I've experienced when I travel to some of these countries, and I want to share with you guys today, just to keep it real with you, all right? So let me just get right into it first. I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about so you guys can see that I'm not bullshitting you, all right? Let me just get this up. I don't even think I have this. Can I share my screen? How do I share this? I don't think I can share it, guys. Let me see if I can upload this on my web browser, and then I'll go ahead and share with you guys. There we go. Let me see if I can share it with you guys this way. We'll see what's up. All right, so let's get right into it. I'm gonna show you guys. This is footage that I captured myself the first day I came to this place. I'll show you guys the video first, and then we'll get right into it, okay? All right, that's the first video. Okay, nothing too crazy. Oh, wait, did I even share it with you guys? Struggle stream already, guys. Struggle streaming already. Let's fucking get it, guys. Let me add this to this. Let me add this right here. Let me go ahead and run it back for you. Not sure if you guys can see that. There's a helicopter in the air. Well, that's nothing too crazy, right? That's nothing too special. Let's just keep going. I'm gonna show you the next one that I'm talking about right here. This is much better than the first one, so I'm just gonna show you guys my personal experiences. All right, I'm not bullshitting you guys. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about.
No, it's the type of place too. It's got fighter jets in the air and shit. It's got fighter jets in the air just doing circles out here. What the hell? What the hell? This shit.
All right, I'm not sure if you guys can see that. So if anybody's watching the stream, I'm gonna play it back one more time so you guys can see.
I know it's the type of place. It's got fighter jets in the air and shit. It's got fighter jets in the air just doing circles out here. What the hell? What the hell?
All right. Not sure if you guys could see that perfectly. Let me know if you couldn't see that, if there was any issues with the audio. Let's get right into it, guys. I was in Taiwan, all right? I was in Taiwan, and in the video, that's my video captured on my phone, the first day I pulled up to Hualien, all right? Hualien is one of the places that are far, far east Taiwan. I'm gonna play it for you guys one more time so you see what I'm talking about.
I know this is the type of place too. It's got fighter jets in the air and shit. It's got fighter jets in the air. He's doing circles out here. What the hell? What the hell? This shit.
All right, guys. So why do I show you this? It doesn't matter, right? How many people go to Taiwan? How many people are traveling to Taiwan? We know passport bros aren't traveling to Taiwan. We know people that are paying for box aren't traveling to Taiwan, right? But for those of you that like to get out and have a different experience, for normal travelers, for people that like to experience life, maybe nature, and maybe you like to go to big cities like Taipei, right? The reason why I tell you this, the reason why I'm talking about this today is because tensions are rising, guys, to a point where it's going to be a point of no return, right? So let me play it full screen for you guys to show you.
I know this is the type of place too. It's got fighter jets in the air and shit. It's got fighter jets in the air. He's doing circles out here. What the hell? What the hell? This shit.
Yeah, that was my very first day. I just came off the train in Hualien. I took the train from Taipei to Hualien in Taiwan, guys. And the first thing I see is F-5 fighter jets scrambling in the air. You know, if you don't know anything about this, I didn't know anything about this, right? I didn't do my research on. I know that tensions are high between Taiwan and China, right? But I didn't know that they would just be going through protocols like that, right? So I looked at my phone. I was like, on like just like the internet and stuff, trying to search. I was like, what the fuck is going on, right? What the heck? And then I learned that they scramble their jets every day, numerous times a day, guys. Taiwan is not playing. I was just in Taiwan, probably what, August? I would say I was in Taiwan in August. And when I was over there, the first thing I see is just multiple fighter jets in the air, scrambling every day. What I saw from my personal experience was about 4 times a day. They had multiple F-5 fighter jets scrambling in the air. And it's been happening so often now, the shit is just, it's protocol to them. And odd enough, not a lot of people were kind of freaked out, you know, like the people were just kind of normalized to this, you know. So let's get right into it. I'm gonna go into something else as well. We're gonna share our screen to go ahead and talk about another thing that we got, just more stuff to talk about as we get prepared for what's to come, right? Yeah, I see this okay. Let me add this to my screen real quick. Let me add this to the screen so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Okay.
Washington just greenlit a $700 million NASAMS deal for Taiwan, its second arms package in a week. As Beijing lashes out and US officials call their commitments rock solid, one thing is clear. America is rapidly hardening Taiwan's air shield. United States has approved the sale of an advanced air defense system to Taiwan worth nearly $700 million, marking Washington's second arms package to the island in a single week. Pentagon confirmed on November 18th that Massachusetts-based Raytheon will supply the National Advanced Surface-to-Air Missile System under a firm fixed-price contract with completion scheduled for February 2031. The NASAMS medium-range air defense system represents new capabilities for Taiwan and has proven its effectiveness on Ukrainian battlefields defending against Russian attacks. In the Indo-Pacific, only Australia and Indonesia currently operate the system. This latest approval follows a $300 million sale of fighter jet and aircraft parts announced last week, bringing the total value of recent transactions to $1 billion.
All right, guys. So why are we talking about this, right? Who cares, right? A lot of people don't care. As I said, a lot of the passport bros aren't traveling to Taiwan. But to be honest, the passport bros are a small minority of the people that do travel, right? For those of you that don't know, we have a bunch of Europeans that travel. You know, we have a bunch of all other folks that travel. We have a bunch of Indians that travel. We have Chinese people that travel, right? And it's just something to actually look out for. Like, this is, we're there. We're there. All right, guys, like, we're not playing no games. We're at the point where we are there, okay? If you're just joining the stream today, I'm sharing my screen one more time to show you guys the reality of what I experienced, right? I don't really like to talk. I don't like to really play victim or nothing like that, but this is kind of my experience firsthand. I'm showing you guys my experience firsthand being in Hualien, Taiwan.
I know it's the type of place. It's got fighter jets in the air and shit. It's got fighter jets in the air just doing circles out here. What the hell? What the hell? This shit.
So, guys, listen. I know this is like something that is probably, a lot of people aren't used to it. You know, America is very isolated compared to the East. It's very isolated compared to, you know, the Western Europe or Eastern Europe. And it's even more isolated when you compare it to South America or even Central America, right? We border Canada and Mexico, and that's it. We got the Pacific and we got the Atlantic. So we really don't have to worry about something like that. But when I got there and I just saw fighter jets every day, like scrambling every day in the skies, 4 or 5 times a day, you hear it, just fighter jets in the air, like soaring. That with on top of they're rolling out helicopters, you got choppers in the air. Let me put the other one up there. The other one where I got with the choppers in the air. Let me see if I can pull that one up. You have helicopters practicing like evac protocols and stuff. You got all types of stuff happening over there. They're really cooking up. They're getting ready, guys. They're really getting ready. Let me show you. Now this one's gonna happen really fast. Let me see if I can just play it. That one's really fast, really simple. It's just a chopper going past a helicopter, right? No big deal, right? You guys don't, nobody cares about that. Nobody cares about fighter jets in the air and shit like that, right? It's none of my business. I just go to DR and pay for box. I just go to Thailand and pay for box. We get it, guys. But listen, there's a lot of people that do travel to Taiwan. There's a lot of people that travel across China, okay? And if you guys don't know, we have a new opponent. We have a new person joining the ring. All right, guys. Yes, we have a new person joining the ring, and that person is Japan. All right. So let's just see if I have anything. I don't think I even have much about Japan right now, but for those of you that don't know, the Prime Minister of Japan is strengthening the ties with Taiwan, all right? Now, what does that have to do with you? That has to do with you because we have a lot of people that, you know, travel to Japan. We have a lot of Americans that travel to Japan, right? Japan's tourism, we've seen a lot of Americans going over there. We've been seeing a lot of Pookies go over there, people going over there to play music on the trains and jaywalk in the streets at the Shibuya crossing and be ratchet out there, you know. So this might not impact you, but sooner or later it will have some type of impact on you. Okay, so the severity of the issue is real. You know, I think that's one thing to note. Hold on, give me a second. Let me see if I can share this real quick. Let me see if I can share my screen real quick. And now we have China is now trying to put some implications and some why does this matter to you guys, right? Well, much like how Trump is doing across America, you know, tariff war is the start to all wars, right? So this might seem like a joke, but from the footage that I captured on my phone about just helicopters and fighter jets scrambling every day, you know, China starting a tariff war with Japan, right? We are really seeing things slowly escalate, and tariff wars are the passive aggressive war. We're so used to being old school with it, thinking that this is like World War I, World War II type of thing, where we need to send boots on the ground and start, the beaches of Normandy and just start rushing up to the beach with, boots on the ground with guns and stuff. No, we're here. You know, this is it. This is now. It's really happening, guys. This is not a joke. All right. So for those of you that might have missed what I'm showing you guys, this is boots on the ground footage of what it looks like when you go to a place like Hualien in Taiwan. All right. Let me share my screen one more time, because for anybody that might have missed it, I'll play it one more time for y'all.
All right, no, it's the type of place. It's got fighter jets in the air and shit. It's got fighter jets in the air just doing circles out here. What the hell? What the hell? This shit.
Every day, 4 or 5 times a day, you're going to see jets in the skies. They're ramping things up. Tensions are really escalating. All right. And we're going to get to a point where it's now at a point of no return. All right. How does this impact us? How does this impact you? This might not impact you right now, but if you are making travel plans to the far east, this will have some impact on you. Okay. Let me share my screen and we'll get into the next topic. Right. We're going to stay with the same topic, but we'll talk about something else right now. All right. Can y'all see this all right? All right, now we have Taiwan prepping everybody. Taiwan's getting ready. They want to prep everybody. They want to make sure everybody is ready and knowledgeable for what's about to happen. All right, this handbook thing, there's been discussions and there's been a lot of preparations in the past couple of months, maybe if so even the past couple of years from Taiwan. But what we're seeing now is we're starting to see Taiwan separate from its partnership with America. You know, the more we see Taiwan really start to gear up and get ready to handle this war, the more we're starting to see Taiwan purchase military equipment from America. But there are no talks about America, shipping, sending warships over to Taiwan, right? All the talk that's happening around the world right now with Taiwan gearing up for war, none of them include America going over there and getting involved, right? There's a few bases. We have a few bases out there in the Far East, in Japan and stuff like that. When you think about it, you're like, America's not really, like, I don't hear Trump saying anything. I don't really hear any crazy things that are happening when it comes to America and their involvement with Taiwan in this Taiwan-China war. So, long story short, Taiwan is going to learn to do without America's help in this upcoming war. Yes, guys. How does this impact us? This will end up having a long-term impact on us because I think in the next 5 to 10 years, depending on what happens down the road between Taiwan and China, what we're going to see is we might see Taiwan separate from America. You know, we're going to see Taiwan slowly separate, which in the long term can pose as visa issues, can pose as travel issues. This might impact people that might just want to go to Taipei or any parts of Taiwan. You might want to go there and just see it for yourself and be in that country maybe once, maybe twice. Long term, it's going to have an impact on us. You know, Taiwan is going to do their best to get ready for this war, and it looks like they're going to get ready for this war without America's help. Okay? Let me stop sharing my screen. Let me go over to the next one. We got so, with Japan's involvement in supporting Taiwan, tensions are now rising between China and Japan. Okay, so as you guys saw, let me see if I can pull up this link real quick. Here we go. Pull this real quick, pull this up real quick.
Well, Beijing has upped the ante on its diplomatic dispute with Tokyo, suspending all seafood imports from Japan. China says the move was prompted by the need to further monitor the water from Fukushima that's being released into the ocean. But it's being viewed as another act of retaliation by Beijing over Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi's remarks about triggering a military response if China invades Taiwan. Let's get more on this with Dr. Jeff Hall, Special Lecturer in Japanese Studies at Kanda University of International Studies. Jeff, good to have you back on the program. Now, firstly, China had only just lifted partial suspensions of seafood from Japan, and now they're back again in full scale. How damaging is this for an industry that's so valued in Japan, and considering China accounts for 20% of Japanese exports?
Well, it is a pretty significant move by China. It's obviously politically motivated. There's no good scientific reason behind this. Nothing new has happened in Fukushima since China started to lift the ban. But this.
All right, guys, I do want to say fair use, fair use, fair use, fair juice, whatever you want to call this shit. But listen, will the juice be worth the squeeze when you go to Japan? Who knows, guys? Who knows? Let's watch a little bit more.
Will especially hurt areas of Japan like Hokkaido, where fishermen and the fishing industry really relies a lot on purchases from China. So this will be one of many steps that China could take to economically damage Japan in response to Takaichi's Taiwan remarks.
Yes, and of course, beyond this, there also were these travel advisories from China, and now we are getting reports as well that up to 500,000 tickets, from China to Japan were cancelled. So beyond the politics, are businesses now further?
All right, let's just stop it right there for now. So, 20% of the fish from Japan comes from China, guys, okay? And as you guys can see, We have a lot of flights being canceled, a lot of travel plans that are impacting the tourism in Japan. Who cares, right? Why does this matter to you? Why does fish matter when you go to Japan? You ever have sushi, right? Japan is the #1 place for you to get some of the best sushi, some of the best fish in the world. And now that is going to slowly change. That will impact the cost. That will have an impact on the tourism. And let's keep watching.
Bracing for economic pain.
It's going to be painful if those numbers are true about cancellations. Chinese make up about 1/4 of the tourists who travel to Japan each year. So if 500,000 a month or more decide to take the advice of their government, it's going to have an economic impact. And it's not a total ban, though, and Japan remains an affordable tourist destination for many countries. So there probably will be some Chinese who come anyway.
Yes, of course, this reaction.
So I can say I was in Japan just recently in August. I was there for about 2 weeks or something. I was in Japan. It's still good food. You can get really good sushi. I'm talking good sushi for $1, guys, for the low. All right. I've been to a lot of chefs' tables where I've eaten at some world-renowned chefs in Japan, where it's you get the fresh, best sushi in the world, guys. It's in Japan. But listen, that's all going to change. And it's going to change soon.
And retaliation from Beijing, that there's no surprises here. It's done so before. But can you tell us, Beijing is known to use trade as a weapon in bilateral spats. So it begs the question, what the Prime Minister Takaichi was thinking when she made those remarks, knowing that there would be some concrete action from China.
Well, there's two possible explanations. One is that she wanted to stand out with her nationalistic conservative views on protecting Taiwan by saying something that previous prime ministers hadn't directly said. The other possibility was that she made these remarks without necessary preparation and without the anticipation that this was actually a change that would spark a Chinese reaction.
All right, let's stop right there for now. All right, we got the point. We got the point right there. So what did we learn? We learned that 1/4 of all the tourism in Japan comes from China. All right, we learned that 20% of the fish that comes from Japan, it comes from China. Okay, that is going to impact so much of the economy, so much of the tourism. There's going to be a shakedown, right? That's going to happen. Now, Japan is going to spark a tariff war with China, as China now is starting to get ready to go into war with Taiwan. Let's go into our next topic here, which is going to be, for those of you that are joining right now, I'll share with you guys one more time my personal experience in Taiwan. It might not be a lot. A lot of people might think it's like a joke or something, or you might not care about it, but let's just show you guys one more time. Boots on the ground, this is what I experienced, okay? Let me just put it up on here.
All right, no, this is the type of place. It's got fighter jets in the air and shit. It's got fighter jets in the air just doing circles out here. What the hell? What the hell? This shit.
Strap up. Get ready. We are now entering that time. Once again, this is in the Far East. It's not gonna impact us right now. Clearly it's not. But when you go to some of these areas, the tensions are rising. I felt it myself when I was in Taiwan. You don't really feel it too much in the big city, Taipei, but when you really go to the outskirts, I was in Hualien for 3 days. I saw fighter jets, I saw helicopters. I'm talking about fighter jets scrambling, like not just one, not just two. I'm talking about 5, 6, 7 fighter jets in the air above your head, just going above your head, just every day. 4 or 5 times a day, over 5 different fighter jets you'll see in the skies of Taiwan, just flying above you. And you could feel tensions rising. You know, this isn't going to impact us right now. This will have a butterfly effect. This is going to impact us sooner or later. Let's go back to our next topic, the next thing I want to talk about now, which is, all right, Japan is scrambling and scraping, y'all. Japan is now scrambling and scraping, trying to sell as much as they can, guys. Right? Why does this matter to us? Why does this matter to you? Right? Japan is one of the biggest U.S. debt holders. All right, they hold a lot of money. I believe it's like trillions of dollars of U.S. debt Japan holds. Okay. So Japan is in a rush. They're scrambling. They're trying to figure out what they're going to do next. You can see that they're now in a position where they're going to take a hit. Right? The yen is, no, I wouldn't say the yen is weak. Right? The yen has always been kind of like where it's at, but you know, I think this year we saw the yen versus the dollar hit like 150. I think that was the first time I've seen that in my lifetime. Where, correct me if I'm wrong, you know, I'm in my early 30s, but I saw the yen versus the dollar hit about 150. The first time I was in Japan, the yen was, I think, about 145 per US dollar. And then this year it hit like a little bit over 150 yen per 1 US dollar. Right? So Japan is now scrambling and scraping, guys. Japan is scrambling and scraping. And then let's see right here. Okay. The dollar versus the yen. Now is where are we at? Should I try to pull it up right now? Let's go see what it is today. USD versus the yen. Let's see where we're at. 157. We're at 157 right now. You know, I think when I was there in Japan, it was like 151, 150. And the first time I was in Japan, it was like around like 145, 146, I think somewhere around there. First time I was in Japan was like years ago, right? So what's going on right now? The reason why I say change your travel plans, guys, the reason why I tell you to change your travel plans is because, you know, if you do have a dollar, if you do want to go far ways, you know, would it be the best time for you to go to Japan? I would say right now, as tensions rise, it is the best time for you to go to Japan. All right. The dollar versus the yen is damn near at a high. It's one of the highest highs that we have experienced in our lifetime, right? But also, this is going to impact how people live, the businesses in Japan, right? Has anybody ever been to Japan? Have you ever had sushi in Japan, guys? If you've ever had sushi in Japan, you know it's like some of the best, top, high quality sushi, right? A lot of people go to Japan not just to party, not just to go to the Shibuya Scramble, but a lot of people go to Japan for food tourism. A lot of people go to Japan for a bowl of ramen. A lot of people go to Japan for sushi, for sashimi, for onigiri, you know, all these different types of seafood-oriented dishes people go to Japan for, right? So that's going to impact. As much as I would love to say to go to Japan just because the dollar is strong, you know, that makes sense, right? Go to Japan because the dollar is strong. But it's going to impact what you do. It's going to impact food tourism, and it's going to impact tourism in general. Now, what's going to happen is long term, if this continues to play out, not to Japan's benefit, Japan will then begin to see an even further decline. We're going to see more Chinese tourism decrease. And as you guys have seen, we have 1/4 of all tourism in Japan comes from China. All right. So that's going to have a major impact on how Japan is. The dollar might go up, might go further up. Who knows where it will be if things get worse, right? Japan is also one of the major holders of U.S. debt as well. So, it's not a good look. It's not a good look right now for Japan. The moves that are being made by the prime minister, I'm not in politics. I didn't go to school for political science or anything like that. So I can only give you my own opinion, right? I'm giving you guys my opinion, but I'm also giving you guys the reality of what I've experienced in Taiwan myself. All right, let's keep going. Let me just remove this. Let me stop sharing this real quick. So the dollar might be strong versus the yen right now. The dollar might be strong versus the yen right now. I would say this could be a great opportunity for you to take advantage and leverage your dollar. If you've never been to Japan, now might be the peak time for you to go. Hopefully tensions don't get worse. Hopefully there isn't a escalation and there isn't a war that happens. But I predict that food tourism is going to have an impact, right? Food tourism is going to be impacted because the ban that China has with fish. That's going to control 20% of the market. It's going to impact China. It's going to impact Japan a lot, guys. So food tourism, a lot of people go to Japan for sushi. Let's go to Grok. Let's see what Grok says. Let's go to Grok. We'll go to Grok. Let's see what Grok says. And let's see if just Grok gives us some feedback, right? So if you've never been to Japan, sushi in Japan is absolutely the best, guys. I can vouch for it myself. I've been to Japan twice. I've ate chef's table at some of the most world-renowned chefs around the world, all right? And currently, Grok says that there's no exact global figure, all right? Now they're talking about the Chinese tourism. China was 20% of Japan's seafood exports. Food tourism is 7% of the GDP. All right, food tourism being 7% of the GDP, guys. That's not a joke, bro. That is not a joke. Food tourism being 7%. All right, they're talking about this ban and the travel warning led to over 500,000 flight cancellations, a 5 to 10% drop in tourism and in retail stocks, because with the tourism comes the spending at shops, spending in the mall, buying little souvenirs. All of that is going to have an impact in Japan. Sushi restaurants, right, may see higher prices. Eel, tuna, it's not looking good. It's not looking good, bruv. It is not looking good, bruv. All right, guys, this is not a joke, all right? I hope you all have had some time to make it far east. I went to Taiwan this year with the tensions in mind. I went to Taiwan because I wanted to go to a place where I know I might not be able to go there in the future. That's why I went to Taiwan. I went to Taipei, Hualien, and Kaohsiung. I was in Taiwan for a little over, like 2 weeks. And being there was nice, but you can definitely feel the tensions of the war. People are gearing up for war over there. America doesn't talk about it enough. You know, there's my little 2-second video of what I have of fighter jets and helicopters scrambling in the air. Is that valid enough to say, like, oh, Taiwan's about to go to war? You know, clearly it's not. But when you think about it, it's real and it's here, right? We have already a ban that China is now imposing on Japan. So that's going to impact the economy much more. All right, guys. For those of you that don't know, for those of you that didn't join the stream earlier, I'll play it for you guys one more time. I'll show you guys exactly what I'm talking about.
I know it's the type of place. It's got fighter jets in the air and shit. It's got fighter jets in the air just doing circles out here. What the hell? What the hell? This shit.
You're ready. Get ready, boys, because now's the time. If you want, now is probably the only time you're going to be able to go to Taiwan. I know you guys aren't interested in going to Taiwan, but now is probably going to be the best time for you to go to Japan. The reason why I say that is because the dollar versus the yen is going to get stronger, but the lifestyle and the culture in Japan will shift if this ban that China is imposing, this travel warning that China is imposing, long term will have a long-term impact on how you go about your day-to-day and the tourism in Japan. Which brings me to the next topic, which is going to be traveling in Japan, guys. Okay, another thing now that has happened in Japan, all right, is we have a volcano eruption, guys. A volcano eruption happened in Japan. Let's just play it. All right, so I don't have the accurate numbers right now, but let's go back to Grok. Let's go back to Grok and see what Grok says, right? Let's go to AI. I know everything is AI now. AI is the new God, guys, all right? So for those of you that don't know, AI is the new God. Let's go to Grok. Let's see how many flight cancellations and how many people had travel plans that got canceled due to this volcano eruption in Japan. All right, let's go back to Grok. Let's see if we get that answer. So even though I'm telling you guys that the dollar is going to be strong, we're going to see here, what do we got? 30 to 34 flights were canceled on November 16th and the 17th. These are domestic routes, guys. Oh shit, not even sharing my screen. Let me share my screen for y'all. I'm going to put this up on the big screen. So as you can see here, just from this one volcano eruption that happened as of recently, 30 to 34 flights were canceled, all right, in a 2-day span. Now, these are just domestic routes, right? So if you're flying from LA to Tokyo, you might be okay, but the domestic routes are definitely going to be impacted. Now, why does this matter to you? This matters because also, another thing, let me pull this one up, right? Let me pull up the next one, guys, because this just gets even crazier. So here we see, now Grok is telling us that, you know, places like domestic travel from Osaka to Japan, or what is it, Nagoya, Tokyo, Osaka, Nagoya, and some international connections via Haneda Airport were canceled, guys. And 41 delays in Sapporo. You see that, guys? This volcano has impacted the travel, okay? But another thing we have here is that just as of recently, a lot of people, I'm not sure if you guys heard about this, but one thing that was happening this year was that Japan was offering free flights. Japan was offering free flights, free domestic travel flights, all right? Free domestic flights to eligible international tourists as a promotion. Did anybody hear about that? I'll give you guys a second. Did anybody hear about that in the travel space this year? I know if you're a traveler and if you're watching travel content, you might have, and you most likely have heard that Japan was offering free flights, right? Do you think that's still going to be a thing? Do you think these free domestic flights are still going to be a thing? If international airports are being shut down, do you think, I mean, international airports aren't being shut down, but we did see that there were cancellations and interruptions. A majority of them were domestic flights, but even some international flights were even impacted, right? You think you're going to get your free flight around Japan? It ain't happening, bro. You think you're gonna get sushi at a cheap price? It ain't happening, bro. Your dollar might be strong when you go to Japan, but the way it's looking long term, some of the main reasons why people go there for some of the main tourism things is gonna be impacted heavily in Japan. All right. Now, why am I talking about all this? You know, if tensions continue to rise, and things continue to go the direction that it's headed, Japan is going to be the next spot that we're going to end up losing as a travel destination. You know, and I know a lot of people don't go to Japan. I know a lot of people are really going to places that might be closer. Japan has really blown up in American tourism, not just from the social media aspect, but you just hear it from just normies. You hear it from the normies in America, people that are going to Japan, people that are now, you know, almost deteriorating the quality of life for local Japanese people. You know, people playing music on the trains, people jaywalking at the Shibuya crossing, people just acting out and running amok in Japan. It's now going to have an impact long term. So, why do I say all this? I say all this to say, change your travel plans, guys. Change your travel plans. Think smarter about the next moves you make. I know a lot of people work a 9 to 5. A lot of people only get maybe 2 or 3 weeks vacation. So Japan might be far reach. Japan might be, you know, out of reach for some people. But tourism to Japan has still been one thing that a lot of people have been doing. We've been seeing Pookies going to Japan now. We've been seeing people that are now going to Japan. So many people that are going to Japan now that it's now deteriorating the quality of how people live in Japan, but also how tourists just engage and get the Japanese experience. You know, if things continue to go like this, food tourism will be impacted. Now, you don't have to be a major foodie. You might just go to Japan for the ramen or for the udon. But I know if the food tourism is 7% of Japan's GDP, a lot of people that go to Japan, I can say, are going to have some sushi. So just because you might have a strong dollar There's going to be a lot of things that are still going to be impacted in Japan. And I'm saying this now for you to be prepared. All right. Now, for those of you that don't know, and those of you that have seen just now in my stream today, Taiwan is gearing up. Taiwan is getting ready. All right. They're purchasing more equipment, military grade equipment from the US. You don't hear a lot of involvement with US putting soldiers in Taiwan, setting up more bases in Taiwan. Do you hear that? I don't hear that. I don't see that, right? Which brings me to my next topic, guys. Which brings me to my next topic, all right? Let me just cut this. Let me stop sharing this real quick. Where is this video? I can't find this video right now. Let me see if I can pull this. This now brings me to my next topic, right? You guys are probably thinking, heck, I'm not going to Japan. I don't care about Japan. Taiwan, what? I don't care about that. Okay, well, if the U.S. isn't setting up troops in Taiwan, if they're not setting up more Navy bases or they're setting up warships over there in the Far East, well, where do you think they're going now, right? And for those of you that have been keeping up, you should already know where we're going next. Okay, guys?
It is massing more naval forces off the coast of Venezuela. President Trump is sending America's largest aircraft carrier to help stop the small boats that he says are transporting drugs to the U.S. His administration says 57 people have been killed in U.S. strikes on these alleged drug boats. On Wednesday, he said U.S. forces had almost completely stopped the drugs coming into America by sea. Speculations therefore growing about what the USS Gerald R. Ford's mission in the Caribbean could be. Donald Trump says he hasn't ruled out strikes on land-based targets in Venezuela. He says the U.S. is in armed conflict with the cartels there. But Venezuela accuses the American president of using drug trafficking claims to fabricate a war in Latin America.
There are now 10,000 Marines, at least 8 warships, a submarine, drones and fighter.
All right, boys. Fucking cooked. You're fucking cooked, all right? You're cooked, bro. You can't go Far East. And sooner or later, you're gonna have a tough time going to the Caribbean. You're gonna have a tough time going to Colombia. You're gonna have a tough time traveling to Latin America, South America, Central America. We already know Mexico is already undergoing a riot crisis, I would say. Right? Mexico got their own situation right now where they got riots and people are storming the streets of Mexico due to the amount of gentrification and all these other things like the cost of living, right? But man, do you see this? Look, have a good look at this, guys, because this shit, we're here. We're now at this point. We are now at this point, guys. And it saddens me. It saddens me because what do we got here? We got what countries do you think we got here? We got Puerto Rico right nearby. You know, Puerto Rico is part of the U.S. territory. Yeah, okay. Then what else we got? We got Cuba. We already can't go to Cuba, right? Why should we care about Cuba if we need a visa and there's a whole strict process? But we got other places. We got DR, right? All you pookies, all you box payers, right? You box payers love to go over there and pay for box. Now you got DR. DR is about to be a spot that's about to be straight jacked up now. The more bases, I mean, the more like ships we put out there into the Caribbean, it's going to increase the tensions. Right now, it might not seem like it's going to be a problem, but if things keep going the way they're going, in a year from now, you're not going to be able to travel to DR. I'm saying it now. You're hearing it here. You're hearing it here from me. If things keep going the way they're going, in about a year from now, you're going to have a very difficult time going to your favorite place, the DR. You're going to have a tough time going to pay for your $40 box. All right. You're going to have a tough time trying to go and go get your mangoes. Okay. Everything's going to be tough for you. Traveling in the Caribbean is going to be tough for you. If you're not going to get on a flight and go to the most southern part of South America, it's going to be tough. A lot of people that travel are traveling to places like DR, Colombia, Japan, some of these places. Right. Let's just start to wrap it up here. I think I'm just going to end up talking in circles. I'm not going to go into this too much because I didn't really want to talk about this too much. My main topic was about the Far East today, sharing my personal experience of my time in Taiwan, what I saw with my own 2 eyes, what I experienced being in the streets of Taiwan as they gear up for war. As you can see here, we're going to have more places gearing up for war. And if places aren't gearing up for war, there's definitely going to be travel restrictions, guys. If there's fighter jets in the air, there's going to be travel restrictions. All right. If there's boats in the water, there's going to be travel restrictions. Okay. So you might be good right now. Long term, this will have an impact on you. All right. Stay ahead of the game. Be smart with your dollar. Learn not where to go today, but where to go tomorrow. Okay. Change your travel plans. This pretty much wraps up today's stream. I want to get on here and say what up to everybody, give you guys my own little insight and my experience on Taiwan. And there's a lot of things I saw in Taiwan. Taiwan's really beautiful, but let me just share my screen one more time to show you guys that. Let's just end it off here so you guys can see exactly what I mean.
Alright, no, it's the type of place. It's got fighter jets in the air and shit. It's got fighter jets in the air just doing circles out here. What the hell? What the hell? This shit.
Alright, guys. This pretty much ends today's stream. Really wanted to talk. Today's topic is to change your travel plans. Change your travel plans, guys. You guys got to think ahead. We're not going to have the experience we once had. You're not going to be able to live the life you want to live. A lot of people that are going to, a lot of people that are going to DR, that are going to Colombia, you guys should already know. If you haven't been keeping up to date, Colombia is already setting up like similar types of restrictions against the U.S. We already got beef with Venezuela, long time beef with Venezuela. But the more we set up in the Caribbean, that will still impact all the countries that are in the Caribbean. That's going to impact the ABCs, right? That's going to impact, Aruba, Bermuda, Bahamas, Curacao, Jamaica, DR, Puerto Rico, Haiti, Cuba. All these places are going to be impacted with the direction that we are taking in the next year, guys. Mark my words, if things don't get better, it's going to be tough for you to travel anywhere next year. Okay? Update your travel plans. Don't think about today, think about tomorrow. Okay, guys? It's your boy Heck. What the heck is going on? I hope you guys are all in good health. I hope you all are getting your money. I hope you all are living with purpose. Okay? It's crazy. It's crazy out here. And I think I got one more thing that I wanted to show, that I wanted to put on the screen to show you guys about Taiwan, but honestly, I don't even want to put that on the screen right now because that's just going to be too hot for my channel. I don't want to try to make myself that type of person. But as you guys can see, Taiwan is gearing up. They're getting ready. You don't hear much of America and their involvement with Taiwan. So what's going to happen in my predictions is Taiwan will slowly separate its dependency from America. Japan is going to get more involved with Taiwan, which is going to impact tourism and the costs in Japan. Right? Taiwan's going to get less involvement with America. They're going to require less involvement from America, maybe, right? And if that happens, that might change how Americans travel in Taiwan as well. And now we got setting up, ships in the Caribbean, which right now doesn't seem like it's nothing to stress, but if tensions do rise and we keep going down this direction in the next year from now, good luck getting to DR, good luck getting to Colombia, good luck you can't even go to Mexico right now. Mexico's hot, right? They want to put troops, Trump offered to send troops to Mexico, right? So Mexico's now about to be out of the list. Colombia is now trying to find ways to eliminate travelers and these passport bros and these other people going there out of the list. You can't go to Venezuela. You need a visa to go to Cuba, right? Think about this, guys, for real. I want you guys to really use your brains. I want you guys to apply a agile mindset with where you're trying to go next. Update your travel plans, okay? This is your boy Heck. We're gonna end today's stream. Shout out to you all. I hope you're all in good health. Hope you're all getting your money. Hope you're all living your life with purpose. Update your travel plans, y'all. I'll catch you guys on my next adventure.